Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in a long time, well, not really a long time because the season finished not too long ago, I'm actually pleased with the Man United game. I'm not going to say I'm happy. I'm not going to say I'm ecstatic. I'm not going to say I'm over the moon. But I am quite satisfied, I have to say. I have to say, final score at the MetLife Stadium, Man United 2, West Ham 1. And honestly, yeah, that was okay. That was actually okay. First half more than the second half, but we'll get into the details. At times, I was looking at this Man United team in the first half and I was thinking, Man United, is that you? Introducing me to a new vibe? And if it is you introducing me to that new vibe, don't introduce me to a vibe you can't keep up because I have to say that was actually okay in the first half. And there's a couple of things that I'd like to point out. First of all, let's just be clear. That first half team is our team that starts every week in the Premier League. That second half team, boy oh boy, that was a hard watch. That was a very, very hard watch. I have to say though, a couple of things that I liked in the first half, and I put out the tweet and I asked people, and I don't know if anybody's replied to it by the time I'm filming this now, but how many times did Man United successfully manage to win the ball back after initiating the press? Because I have to say, it was an incredible amount of times that I've seen United press and successfully win the ball back and initiate an attack. And you can clearly see that that's something that they've worked on in training. You can clearly see that this is something that they've worked on since starting preseason training again. So I have to say that was pretty impressive. The way Dorgu at times was moving up and pressing, the way Ahmad at times was moving up and pressing, and then somebody in the middle would go up and press, whether it's Bruno, whether it's Cunha. And I have to say, it looked really, really good. It looked really good. Now, mix that with a bit more productivity going forward, you could have something on your hands there. You could honestly have something on your hands. I'm looking at the team. The defense, for me, that has to be the defense that starts every week. Euro on the right, De Ligt in the middle, and Heaven on the left. I think that's a solid defense. Now, of course, this is all based on what we saw last season. And last season, obviously, we finished 15th, which is something that's nowhere near good enough for a club the size of Man United. But that's a solid defense. I'm looking at this lineup in midfield. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Kobbie Mainoo, Ugarte. For the first time, I was looking at Ugarte and I was thinking, hold on a minute. Hold on. Is this Ugarte winning the ball back and passing it properly, like not losing it again to then win it back? I have to say, yeah, that was quite a good watch. That was quite a good watch. The two tens today were Bruno and Cunha because Mbeumo didn't start, or he wasn't in the squad at all. And obviously Højlund played up front. Now, if this is our starting 11 for the upcoming season, obviously Mbeumo starts. Who drops out? In my opinion, Højlund drops out of that 11. And you probably choose between Cunha and Mbeumo to play in that number 9 position, but then you make it like a fluid front three, if you like. There's not one number 9, and that's all in terms of who we bring in as a striker. Because as of now, at the time of recording, Man United still hasn't bought a new striker. So that means you have to be fluid in terms of who plays in that front three. So that's that's Mbeumo, Cunha, and possibly somebody else. And then you just alternate and you change and you switch in the game. So that's most likely what's going to happen. However, if Man United do bring in a striker, then, you'd have to make choices. Probably Bruno then drops a bit deeper and Ugarte probably moves out that midfield, and then you have a double pivot or a midfield two of Bruno and Kobbie, And then you have the two tens in Burmo and Cunha. You have the two wing backs in Dorgu and Ahmad. And then up front, you have the striker. But that all depends on who is going to come in as the new number 9. But I have to say, I was very impressed with that first half. I thought the only thing that kind of lacked was us having a bit more possession. And at the start of the second half, before the second team came in, we did see a bit of that. We saw a bit more possession. We saw a bit more control. Now, I'm aware of the fact that with Amorim, we're most likely not going to have total control of the game. I'm talking, starting games and finishing games of more than 60, 70% possession. I don't think that's ever going to happen with United consistently. I think there will be a lot of games where we'll be sitting back, like today against West Ham. We'll let the opposition have the ball. We'll let them, play their passes, wait for the trigger to then initiate the press, win the ball back very high, and then boom, go on the counter. I think that is most likely what we're going to see a lot of this season in the Premier League. It's a bit sad that this is what we're going to see, because I'm a big fan of having possession, having control, and I'm of the opinion of, if you have the ball, obviously you control things and you're most likely going to score. You're less likely to concede because you have the ball, you have the control, and you dictate what's going to happen, and you're the dominant side. And as much as United over the last few years and in history have been a side that have been very well known for being a counter-attacking side, I do think there was still an element of dominance, back in the days in the mid-2000s and even in the 2010s and whatnot. There was still an element of dominance. Like, United was still able to assert their dominance when it comes to playing against different oppositions. But yeah, I think I'm coming to peace with the idea that we're never going to be an ultra possession side. We're never going to be that. Looking at the way we play today, I don't think that's ever going to happen. Not under Amorim, unless we bring in a super possession style type of manager in the future, some way, somehow, I don't know. But I don't think that's going to happen. Now, I do think there's still a lot to be done in the transfer window. But before we get into that, I want to talk about Kobbie Mainoo. Kobbie Mainoo today, I thought, played really, really well. And you can definitely tell the difference it makes when somebody has a pre-season and when that same person doesn't have a pre-season. Because remember last year, after the Euros, Kobbie went on holiday, didn't really have a pre-season, came back into the squad, had played a very long season, had played loads of matches, I think was, for most England games, was a starter. Played the final as well, and played really well during the Euros, by the way. But he never really had a pre-season to start the new season, which was last season, 24-25. Injuries started to come in and his form kind of dipped, and there was a lot of criticism. And at the time I was like, people need to, get off Kobbie's back, because he's still young. There's still lots to learn for the kid, and despite his young age, he's already shown immense amount of quality for his age. Look at what we saw today. Today, I thought he was excellent at times. The way he was shielding the ball, the way he was receiving it on the half turn, weaving past defenders, getting past them, using his strength and using his ball carrying abilities, to drive the ball forward. Maybe the final pass wasn't always there, but it's pre-season. We'll see that, I'm sure, with the 2 games to come against Bournemouth and Everton, and by the time the season starts. But Kobbie, for me, was excellent today. And I go back to what Amorim said about him. He said, I have plans for this kid. I have big plans for him. I'm paraphrasing. I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was something along those lines. And I can definitely see it. I can definitely see it. And somebody like Kobbie should be used to build a team around. I'll be honest with you guys. The team should be built around somebody like Kobbie, because he's the future of this club. He's the future of this club. And the more quality players you surround Kobbie with, the better he will get. He's already good. So I would keep Kobbie in that starting 11, I'll be honest. Obviously, we do have the likes of Casemiro, we do have the likes of Ugarte in there. But on the ball, I would much rather prefer to play someone like a Kobbie rather than Ugarte and Casemiro. No disrespect to the two of them, but that's just my preference. And today we saw that. Now people are going to turn around and say it was only West Ham. Listen, last season that would have been a different story, you know. So Kobbie, respect, man. That was a solid performance, and I'm looking forward to seeing him more. I'm looking forward to seeing more from him in the second game against Bournemouth, and in the third and last game in the US against Everton. Striker. Manchester United need to bring in a forward ASAP. We need to know what we're going to do for that number 9 position ASAP, so that we know what to do. Like I said, if we're not going to bring in a number 9, cool. So at least we know we're going to have a fluid front three. If we are going to bring in a number 9, it needs to be as soon as possible, because I'll be honest, people, Rasmus Højlund, his time is up. I mean, his time's been up, but his time is up, people. Like, it's not a good watch. I'll be honest. It is not a good watch at all. Sorry, people. I'm really sorry. At this point, I'm not even, because remember, there was times where I was upset and I was angry and I was furious. Right now, I'm just like, just do the guy a favor and just don't play him. Just do him a favor, because it just does not look good. At the high level, at this professional high football level, it is not looking good. I'll be honest with you guys. Just do the guy a favor. Just don't play him. Just don't play him. People talked about the little burst of pace that he had when Bruno put him through. I'm not impressed by pace. I'll be honest. People can show pace, but on the ball they can be absolutely horrible, and it's the case with Højlund. So a new striker needs to come in, because I believe with someone who's able to hold up the ball better, someone who's able to pass the ball better, and to someone who's able to connect and combine with his teammates better, I think we have more of a chance to get more goals out of that new number 9 rather than persisting with Højlund. And I'll be honest, if no number 9 comes in by the start of the season and United go into the season 25-26 with Rasmus Højlund, we have a problem. I have no issues and no concerns about Xerxes. I think he'll be fine if he's the one that's going to be starting. But if it's Højlund, buckle up. We have a major problem. We have a major problem. Word to Earth Gotti, God rest his soul. Second half. Obviously, the team that started the second half, and then the second team came in. Boy, oh boy. That was a terrible, painful watch. I mean, the same way Amorim has told some of the other guys that have not travelled with the team on tour to find a new club, I think he needs to be telling some of the guys that played in the second half to find a new club as well. I mean, Mason Mount, I could have spared, like United could have spared us those 2.5 years, or not even half, but those 2 seasons that Mason Mount's been at the club. They could have spared us, because when we first got linked to Mason Mount, I told you guys that this signing weren't it. For those who've been following me for a long time, you guys know the Mason Mount signing, I've said it from the moment we got linked with him. I said, this ain't going to work out. And not because I didn't like the guy or I didn't think he had qualities, but I looked at the price tag, I looked at the injuries that he started to pick up at the time, and I just said, nah, no, it's not going to work out. It's not going to work out. Lo and behold, look at him today. He's just out there doing cardio sessions at this point. Nah, I'm sorry. Luke Shaw, again, someone who, for some reason, every manager seems to put faith in, and people use that to then come and tell people like me or people that criticize Luke Shaw or have been criticizing him for a long time to say, see, manager trusts him. Manager trusts him. That means he's good. Nah, I mean, I can see it. You can all see it. I don't think I need to say what I want to say, but you guys get my point. Harry Maguire, same thing. These are all guys that need to be moved on. Like, respectfully, listen, I've got respect for every footballer out there, but these are just guys that you need to move on. Because they're not going to help you get closer to a better finish than last season. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. So a lot still needs to be addressed in the transfer window. A midfielder, in my opinion, still needs to come in. We've missed out on quite a lot of targets. I've just seen, before I started to film this, seen a cameo from Richard Rios from Palmeiras, who went to Benfica. He's looking good. I don't know what the deal is with Ederson from Atalanta. I don't know if he's leaving, if he's staying. There was talks of Hjulmand at one point. I don't know what's going on with that. And the striker situation, we still don't know what's going on with that. So there's still a lot to be done, you know. We're about to go into August, the last month of the transfer window. Apparently, sales need to happen first before purchases happen. Those sales better happen quick because we need new bodies. We need new bodies. So that second half was a hard watch, man. And no disrespect to the kids that played as well. You know, Fletcher, obviously no disrespect to him. I thought he done quite okay. But yeah, apart from that, I think, yeah. And the goalkeeper situation needs to be addressed as well. Obviously, apparently we're in talks with Lamens from Antwerp. That report about Donnarumma came out. I don't know how true that is. Quite surprised that they're trying to sell in PSG because they're getting in Chevalier from Lille. So that means they're selling Donnarumma. I don't know how true that is. So, you know, still lots to be done. But anything can happen in a month. I just hope Man United won't be moving slow, because if they move slow like they did in June and July, we're not going to get anybody out and we won't get anybody in. And I'm telling you again, if we start the season with this squad only, having only purchased Mbeumo and Cunha, this is not going to be a good season, people. So let me know what you think in the comment section below, guys. Feel free to put in whatever you want. Keep it respectful, of course. And yeah, man, road to 18K, road to 20K, sorry, closing in on 18. And yeah, listen, recorded this straight after the game. It is now 2:48 a.m. I'm going to make my way to bed, obviously edit this. And yeah, shout out to everyone tuning in. I appreciate your support each and every time. The next United match reaction will come on Thursday, very early in the morning, because I'll be watching the game. It starts at 2:30, so it will probably finish around 4 something. But I'm going to go straight to bed after that and then record it in the morning to then, to then give it to you guys after, in the morning when you wake up, and then you can watch it. So, yeah, man, like, share, comment, subscribe, people, and I'll see you soon. I'm out. Peace. Today's video was sponsored by Subway Mark Collection. Now listen, it's summertime. I know you want to hit that beach. I know you want to go to that birthday party. Listen, I know you want to go to that wedding. What better pair of shades to make you feel like you're the flyest person in the room or on the beach than Subway Mark Collection? The mission is to build a brand that reflects empowerment. Life is a journey full of obstacles that we can't escape, and you need to have self-confidence and trust in yourself to overcome those challenges. The vision is to empower you to accept yourself as you are, and know that you're a unique breed and there's only one of you. Life is a marathon. Hold your vision and trust the process. Add a finishing touch to your outfit with these slick and sharp sunglasses. A lifestyle that empowers. Hit the link in the description and get yours now.